There we go. I, for some reason, the image wouldn't go away. Welcome to a special edition of the Horror Syndicate's Horror Movie Massacre. We're coming to you on a Monday rather than a Tuesday. I have something going on tomorrow, so I needed to move up a day. Apologies. And we can't take over Wednesday because you know that's Werewolf Wednesday. And tonight we're doing 1984, top 10 from 1984, one of the bigger years of the 1980s. 80s, really, man. It's a stacked decade. Last year was kind of not last year. 1983 wasn't the best, but there's some good stuff. Before I get going, I just wanted to make sure, and I got to say this because it bugs me when I see it on our thing. I saw Hard Eyes this weekend. Lots of fun. Take your date out on Valentine's Day and see this. It's a rom-com slasher done very well. I really enjoyed it. And no, it has nothing to do. It's nothing like My Bloody Valentine at all. Not even close. It's takes place on Valentine's Day and it's a slasher. That's it. That's where it stops for My Bloody Valentine. So anyway, if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. If you've been here before, hit us with a like. If you hit us with a like, it helps us out tremendously on Facebook and on the YouTube. Tonight, Seth will be with us momentarily, but we've got a special guest who you might know from THS Discourse. This is my friend Nathan Thomas Milliner, and I just noticed our names aren't up.
Nah, no one cares.
Nobody cares, yeah. It's like, who are these guys? Nobody cares. Nate, how you doing, man? Congratulations, by the way, on order for Nate. I bet you're stoked.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nate got a part in a play coming up, so he'll be possibly starting, depending on weather, starting rehearsals very soon. I'm pretty excited for him because this guy's always been behind the camera. Well, started out in front of a piece of paper, then behind the camera. Now he's on stage doing his stuff. Although you've done some stuff previously in front of the camera, right? Yeah.
Some stuff in the movies, but yeah, mostly just little cameos, mostly, except for maybe Volumes of Blood 2.
Yeah, but that was memorable. For anybody who's seen Volumes of Blood, that's definitely memorable. I don't know if they took the names off. I'm looking for. I can't find them. Anyway, I'm Ray. He's Nate, and Seth will be with us soon. So we're gonna get to the countdown very soon. Great year, 1984. Nate and I kind of talked about a little bit before. Our favorite horror movie of all time is in this list. I dare you to guess what it is. Just saying. But Nate, if you're cool, I'd like to go through the years we have covered real fast. Take about a couple minutes, see what you think of our lists.
Okay.
We'll start. I think this is 1980. We'll start with 1980, and 1980 kicks off the decade, and we've got some good ones. What was your favorite from 1980? Do you think is it The Shining?
The Shining, yeah.
Night Configuration is yours as well.
Yeah, Night Configuration is a great movie. I first found out about that from Tom Atkins when I met him at Horror on Weekend.
Was he in it?
He's in it. Yeah, I was hanging out with him outside of my booth, and he was talking about this movie he made in, I think, Romania, on a castle, and I made this. It was all male cast. He was saying it's Stacy Keach and Scott Wilson and Jason Miller. And he was naming all these people. I'm like, what the hell? What is this? He goes, I made it with William Peter Blatty. He was a director. I'm like, the guy that wrote The Exorcist? He's like,
wow. That's interesting.
After it's the best way I can explain it. It's a horror movie version of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's
oh shit.
They're like military. It's like a military asylum, basically. It's like soldiers who are losing it, and they're in this. They shot it in a castle in Romania, and that's the institution, and really, really cool.
That's one I definitely want to try to watch. I feel like I play catch up every year for things I haven't watched.
I think it's on Shudder or Tubi or something.
Is it? Okay, yeah, that's streaming. Looking at the premise, I was like, that does sound interesting, and it made our list. So, but I guess there's no way to slow that down whenever we play it. But just going back real fast. Can I
I
stop
don't
it?
know if I've
No.
seen Humanoids from the Deep.
Oh man, it's schlock. It's fun.
Mhm.
It came with in the Corman's classics from Scream Factory.
Yeah,
The Changeling's a good one, as you know. I
yeah,
think you
Changeling's
know.
awesome. Inferno's
I
awesome.
love Inferno. Friday the 13th. We talked about a ton. Have you seen City of the Living Dead? I know you did some art for it.
Yeah, I like that one. I've been to the cemetery and the church from the opening. I've been to the location. It's in like one of the
Have you
Carolinas,
really?
or it's in one of the Carolinas or Georgia. I can't
No
remember.
shit.
I went to. I was like, oh shit, shot
That's,
here.
that's pretty fucking cool.
I think the rest of it was shot in New York, but that scene was shot in the South.
Yeah, because New York is America to a lot of people from overseas and such, which I get it. you know.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, I don't know. 1981 is next. Let's see if anything stands out to you in 81.
big year. Yeah,
Yeah.
not a huge fan of Scanners, but it's cool. Deadly Blessed. I did a Blu-ray for that. I love it. Dark Knight. I love. Possession's awesome. I did a cover for Howling. Friday 13th 2. Love it. It's one of my favorites. Beyond's cool. Love Halloween. Done a
Love
lot of
Halloween
that. A
too.
lot of stuff. A lot of covers for that. And a Werewolf. Yeah. Evil Dead. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. I don't remember our lists offhand. Evil Dead or An American Werewolf in London? Which one do you think is should be number one?
That's tough.
I know. Let's Seth loves An American Werewolf in London very much. That's
I
his
think
favorite.
I think if I'm recommending it to people as like must see, well, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, American Werewolf in London is a very prestige movie.
Yeah.
John Landis was a very seasoned director at that point, but there's something about 21, 22-year-old Sam Raimi directing Evil Dead with minimal budget, just a bunch of kids making a movie in the woods.
That's so cool.
And it's so innovative, it's so stylized, and it's creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of a toss up,
it's
man.
it's hard. It's hard to say which one's better.
Here, Seth will answer that for you.
He'll say American Werewolf in London, and
Yeah.
he's not wrong. American Werewolf in London is incredible. It's one of the. I mean, both of them are top 10 horror movies of the 1980s.
Yeah.
Or and top 20 of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. Seth, I asked him which way. So in our 81 list, it was An American Werewolf in London, Evil Dead at number one, and I asked him which one is which one do you think should be number one, and it's a toss up. We already know your answer.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know if you remember, but when we did that episode, I said that as much as I love American Werewolf in London, I think The Evil Dead deserves to be number one.
It's hard to deny it.
Yeah, because the Evil Dead is. I mean, I'm a huge fan of that one as well, but I think that's the rightful number one of 81.
Yeah,
I think the significance, if you're trying to give one an edge, American Werewolf in London is, in my view, the greatest werewolf film ever made.
Yeah.
Evil Dead's not the greatest zombie movie or demon movie, maybe. I don't. Some people say it's not zombies. It's kind of categorized as a zombie movie. It kind of fits in that genre.
yeah,
It's demonic possession, but they're still zombies.
Yeah, it's hard to like.
But there's nothing better werewolf-wise, in my opinion.
No.
Some say Howling, I say bullshit. American Werewolf in London is the greatest werewolf movie.
It is. I don't think The Howling really. And I like The Howling, but I don't think it holds a candle to An American Werewolf in London overall. But in my opinion, nothing holds a candle to Silver Bullet. But I'm just joking.
If they'd held a candle, it would have been better lighting.
Oh, stop! God damn it! All right, let's go through 82 real fast, and we'll do 83. See what your thoughts are on this list. Have you ever seen Pieces?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm not a huge 3D fan. Cat people love Paul Schrader. The Entity is fuck. I remember The Entity. You can pause it out though. Like
I can't pause it, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah, like the Entity. I didn't know about that movie until about 20 5 years ago or so.
I didn't know about it till 3 years ago. So
I was at work and we were talking about real life hauntings and like experiences. And this woman was talking about playing with a Ouija board with her husband, and this ghost started like attacking her husband. And so, but we were talking about movies, and I think I threw out The Exorcist, and she said The Entity was a movie that scared the shit out of me. I'm like, what is that? So she told me about it, and I watched. I'm like, holy hell, this is intense.
It's a fucking heavy movie, man.
And then Amityville 2 is one of the greatest horror like haunted movies. Really, look, I mean, that year, Entity, Poltergeist, and Amityville 2 are three of the very best, in my opinion, ghost films ever made.
Well, you don't look at these years and think, well, that's kind of a bummer year, and then you start seeing what's in there. You're like, damn, I forgot about that. Damn, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Halloween 3, and that awesome movie. Poltergeist, awesome movie. But The Thing, obviously.
I mean, out of those, I mean, the thing with that is Poltergeist was a movie I saw as a child. So
yeah,
Poltergeist was a movie that scared me as a kid. I saw that. I love that movie. The Thing I didn't really see until probably I was in my teens. And while I love The Thing, it's hard for me to top Poltergeist. Because again, when it goes to haunted house movies, I don't know if there's anything better than that movie.
Is there a better horror movie, better family horror movie than Poltergeist?
No, and it has like the greatest ending of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that ending scene is perfect. And I'm a big Spielberg guy, but I can't deny how good The Thing is. Like, as big of a fan as John Carpenter as I am, I'm not as big as Seth, but I am a big John Carpenter fan.
Is anybody as big as Seth?
And Halloween is my second favorite horror movie, but as much as I love Halloween, I wouldn't stand in anybody's way saying that The Thing is his masterpiece.
It is, in my opinion. Yeah.
And The Thing, that's Rob Bottin's masterpiece too. It's like that the effects still work; they still hold up. Everything about The Thing, that's another toss-up. But I can't argue that The Thing isn't the best. I think it's arguably the greatest horror remake.
As much as I love Poltergeist, which I do so much, I can't deny that I think The Thing may be one of the greatest horror movies of all time. It's got to be top 5 overall, in my opinion.
And what's really awesome is you've got 2 movies in here on that year that, upon release, were called shit, and they're in your top 5, right? Halloween 3 and The Thing.
Dude, Halloween 3 is fucking amazing. Anybody who still, I just put it up on our Facebook page for no reason. Honestly, actually, I had a reason, because the girl that I'm kind of seeing that's her favorite horror movie. But like, I still don't understand how people can't like that movie. I'll never understand it.
Michael Myers is in it, but the thing is, The Thing is almost now universally seen as one of the greatest horror films ever made.
Yeah,
which is astounding, because it's not just horror fans came around to Halloween 2. There's still a lot of people think Halloween 2 or Halloween 3 is crap, but you don't hear that about The Thing. The Thing is held so high in regard that it's like even people who aren't horror fans are like, The Thing is amazing. So
I agree. It's a great movie. Go through 83 real fast, and we'll start our 84 countdown. Never seen that one. That was one of yours.
It's really weird and cool. Amityville 3 down on us. Sleepaway Camp did covers for that. I was typing on this live podcast, and I don't know if y'all got to my comment about Twilight Zone. But I think the John Lithgow, the George Miller, Mad Max director, I think that segment's one of the best things made of the 80s. Like the remake of the 20,000.
Oh yeah, Terror at 20,000 feet, or whatever it is.
Terror at 20,000 feet.
Mhm.
But John Lithgow's performance in that, and just the way George Miller filmed it, edited it, it's brilliant. It's terrifying. But the one that got me when I was a kid was the TV one, the little boy.
Mm.
He was on Hogan's Family, I think. He was one of the sons on Hogan's Family.
That's a
And
deep cut.
yeah, and the scene that got me, and I have a drawing hanging up in my theater. A guy named Kevin is an artist, I think from Chicago, who does these recreations of stills from movies in I think watercolor pencil. And he did this image. It was the sister with where her mouth had been removed, and she's sitting in the bedroom watching television. And so that image of that, I used to watch that movie a lot. That shot was one where I knew it was coming. I'd have to hide my eyes. It just fucked me up for some reason. Of the sister having no mouth, sitting there watching TV.
Oh yeah.
And it's like those little things that kids like. There's these moments in movies when you're a kid that they just bother you so much. So when he drew that, I'm like, oh my God, you drew that. That's one of those scenes. So I think we did an art swap maybe, and he gave me that, and I gave him.
You should try it.
I think I did a Indiana Jones drawing for him as a trade off. But yeah, that image, Twilight Zone, and the Twilight Zone music scared the hell out of me.
Mm.
I think because of that opening scene.
Like the opening theme?
Yeah. Because I didn't really watch the show. That was like my first exposure to Twilight Zone was that. And so that whole Dan Aykroyd, Albert Brooks opening, hey, you want to see something really scary?
Yeah.
And he turns into a monster and it starts playing the music. Ding, 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 ding. I was like,
so
I don't like that music. It gives me, it makes me nervous.
Twilight Zone had kind of a rebirth in the mid 80s too, the show. Because I remember watching the show before I ever even saw the movie. And I think there was like a rebirth of the show in the 80s as well, which I do remember.
Okay.
No, go ahead. No,
I'll cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I just remember the opening credits of this. It freaked me out just watching that.
Yeah. The other thing I was gonna say is Cujo, movie that scared the hell out of me when I was a kid because I didn't really watch a lot of horror movies. I guess I was 6 or 7. I was the same age as the boy. I know we're like the same age from Who's the Boss. And so my parents went out for the night when I was staying with my babysitter, and she had some teenage kids, and they rented Cujo and watched it. And I was there. I kind of had to watch it. So that completely terrified me, that movie. And so I remember I was scared shitless of it. So I was scared me as a kid, but as I watched it, older, like just appreciating how good Dee Wallace is in that movie. And I agree, she was Oscar worthy in that movie. And a lot of people say if it wasn't for her performance, that movie wouldn't hold up as much as it does. It still lingers because of her performance. And when I met Dee, I gave her some artwork inspired by it, and she said that's her favorite role. That's her favorite movie.
Really?
Yeah, so
she's got a lot of iconic roles too.
I mean, she's an ET for fuck's sake, and she's like Cujo is her favorite.
She's in the
role.
hole.
Yeah.
All right,
And
so let's get into what'd you say?
She's in The Hills Have Eyes, and
I mean, Dee Wallace also I think may be a little underappreciated in horror because I remember the last show I went to, she was there. And like you'd see lines at all these people's booths but hers for some reason. I was like, I feel bad for her she's in my opinion, like she's a big part of horror in the 80s for sure, and even up till recently because she was in some of the Rob Zombie movies as well. And I like Dee Wallace quite a bit.
She was also in Critters. She was the mom in Critters.
That's right. Yeah, she's the horror mom.
She is. Like she's so lovable and so like sweet. She's pretty, but she's also kind of pretty in a mob way. Yeah, it's like it's like I guess because E.T. probably is why I look at her that way. I just see her as mom
Yeah,
And
I mean,
you know,
she's got that quality, and that's not a bad thing.
so
So,
like in Halloween, I love her in Halloween. Like
mhm.
that scene on the porch, you know, with her and her
Yeah,
husband
when they're
is so
kind of
great.
giggling, and yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I love
good.
that scene. So when she dies in Halloween, it's fucking just it upsets me
Man, where did
when
that come
Michael Myers
on?
kills her. Yeah.
Asshole. All right, let's get to this.
Right.
1984. Great fucking year in horror. There are movies that did not make the list, of course, but the list was comprised of me, Seth, Nate, and Jared's top 10 list. Like Jared put the mutilator on. It's like I left the mutilator off, and then I put it on my list, and I was like, Jared, you didn't put the mutilator on. He's like, well, fuck. And he had to put it on at the end because it was one of his first articles with the Horror Syndicate was the mutilator, his first reviews. Um, and there's not too many. I mean, again, this is I think the second time we've had the same number one overall. Which come on, it has to be number one. And if anybody that watches this can guess what number one is before we get to it, you get my respect. But we're gonna kick this.
You get to be right.
Yes, you get to be correct. But we're going to kick this off with number 10. And Seth and I did a lot of talk on this one in the past. Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Hey, look, there's a He-Man thing back there.
Is it? Oh, yeah. I
That's
see
the
it.
universe.
The costume, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I
It
guess
looks
so.
like it.
Oh, it says kite. It says a kite.
Oh, it's a kite?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. That's the holder.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's one of the best parts about this movie is the goddamn toy store.
I did a coloring book for this one for Fright Rags.
Hannah. So every time, so I know Hannah personally. She's a friend of mine, and she's married to a friend of mine, Richard Kruger. But every time anything Sleepaway Camp pops up, she pops up. Just saying. Like, I think it's her favorite movie. But anyway, Seth, you had this higher than I did. What are your thoughts on this?
I like Silent Night, Deadly Night a lot. It's one of my favorite slashers. It's a must watch around the Christmas time. For a slasher, it is pretty story and character oriented. Not saying that it's, extremely well written or anything like that, but
Is it better written than Amityville 3?
yeah, I think it is. So I really enjoy this film a lot. And again, it's a must watch around Christmas time, and it's unfortunate that it didn't get any good sequel, but
a garbage sequel.
Yeah.
And Nate, you didn't have this on your list at all.
No, it's such a 84 is such a great year that there's a lot that fall off.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Yeah, I don't dislike this one, but when it comes to a lot of the B grade Halloween knockoffs, I don't have a huge affection for a lot of them. But this was this was one of the better ones of the Halloween rip-offs.
Yeah, it was one that I saw when I was younger, like really young. Probably shouldn't have saw it. And I think I walked into my mom watching it, and I saw right when Linnea Quigley was topless and getting hung on the antlers, which to my delight, and already talking about boobs. Sorry, but I can't help it. And I love Linnea Quigley. It's not one of my favorites, but it's fun. It's fun, especially around the holidays. It's definitely the best one of the franchise. I will say that. Coming in at number, this is all you, Nate. Seth wants to see this. I have seen it. It was okay, but you love this movie. What's simple?
Okay. Yeah. This was the debut movie of the Coen brothers. It's a thriller in many ways, but it is a little horror, I think. It's if you watch it, you'll see a lot of, because I think Joe edited The Evil Dead, and they're friends with Sam Raimi and them. And so you'll see a lot of camera shots and editing choices in this that feel like Sam Raimi a little bit. Some like camera perspectives and camera movements. The lighting, it's a noir film. It's got a very noir background, but it's like a Texas noir film, like West Texas. I mean, they've made a lot of movies. No Country for Old Men is set in West Texas, so there's that flair to it. But this is Frances McDormand, who ended up marrying Joe Cohen, and has done a lot of their movies, Fargo, and almost all of them. She's in almost all of them. But
Yeah.
so Frances plays. She's married to a club owner, played by Dan Hedaya, like a bar, and she's having an affair with the bartender, and they're wanting to kill him to get his money and run off. And so, but Dan is hip to them cheating on him, so he's hired a private investigator played by Emmett Walsh, who's terrifying in the movie, to follow him around, and then he pays them to kill them, and it just turns into this, it's this really great noir hitman thriller, where you great movies when all the best laid plans of mice and men, like everything goes wrong, everything that can go wrong goes wrong, and it's one of those type of movies. So I think you're muted, Ray.
You're muted, Ray.
I hate when I do that. I had to mute myself because Helena keeps coming in here. But I've said it a million times that I think I would have liked this better if I saw it earlier, and I really do believe that about a lot of movies. Big Trouble in Little China is number one. I would have liked it better if I saw it earlier.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a fun list. But yeah, Seth told me today that he wants to see it. So, what was it on HBO? Wasn't it Max or something like that? I think that's where I saw it.
I think I have the DVD of it.
Oh.
I just haven't put it in yet. I like the Coen brothers a lot. So
yeah, and Criterion put it out, so I need to get that copy because I don't have the Criterion copy.
All right.
That's so cool. And I've been to, it was shot in Austin, Texas. So when I visited Austin, Texas, I went to one of the spots. I think it was her apartment in the movie.
That's pretty.
Got a really cool creative finale, almost a home invasion type finale. It's really cool.
Well, your prototype. And
Jackson didn't like it.
He's never allowed to be on the show again.
You're done.
It really depends on what he thinks of our next one, number 8, Chud. Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dweller. I love this movie. I know Jared loves it.
I don't get it.
Yes. Yes. This has a low-key good cast. I mean, even John Goodman makes an appearance in this movie, but Daniel Stern's really good. It's not John Hurt. Is it John Hurt?
John Hurd, yeah.
Okay, John Hurd, yeah.
So I was doing the big thing.
Right, yeah. Let's make it a machine. Let's make it a bug. Yeah. The only thing I really like, Mike Lombardo is the one that turned me onto this one. I had seen it before, but I was like, whatever, because I remembered the second one, Bud the Chud,
Yeah.
And the only thing I wish they would have been able to give us the full Chud. They only made the arms and the head appliance. They didn't make the full thing. That's me and Mike talk about the full Chud quite a bit, oddly enough. Mm-hmm. But I like this movie. Did you like this one? I don't know, Seth. Did you even see this one? He's gone.
He's gone. Yeah, I like Chud. It's a pretty cool movie.
It's better than you'd think it would be.
Yeah, I didn't say it. You look at some of those movies, you look at it, oh, that's going to be shit, and then you watch this, it's like, no, this is actually pretty damn well made, and mm-hmm. You said the cast alone, it's like, holy shit, they're in this movie. So, yeah, who was the director of this? Well, this wasn't Larry Cohen, was it? Who did Chud?
No, I wouldn't be surprised if he had a hand in it, though. Let me see if I can look it up real fast. Chud. The title alone's like, what?
What's it stand for?
Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dweller.
Yeah.
Yeah. which I mean, do I look like some hideous fucking chud over here? You know, that's my
Yeah.
first experience with any kind of chud. So, 1984 number one, and you can disagree with me, is Terminator. Well, we are going to disagree with you, and that's all I'm going to put. Say. Coming in at number 7 is Children of the Corn. I think we did a full episode on this, did we?
Yeah, I love this movie.
I do
No,
too.
and I know it's kind of not great, but I love the atmosphere. I've always loved the short story.
Mhm.
I think Malachi and Isaac are creepy.
Oh, yeah.
I love Linda Hamilton. I think Peter Horton's great too. I love the
Peter
little
Horton's great.
kids. Robbie Kiger, I like him a lot in it. I love the score. Like
Yeah.
R.G.
Yeah.
Armstrong is the gas station guy. I just love it has a huge influence on my new film. So
I feel like any other year this may have been a little higher, but 84 kind of stacked. Seth doesn't like this one as much. He liked the 2022 Children of the Corn movie the best, and the remake from 2009, right, Seth?
Yeah, you can go fuck yourself with that one, sir. Yeah, no, I've always loved Children of the Corn. I've seen it since I was a kid. So it was one that stuck with me. The opening scene made me never want to have kids. That didn't really work out. But yeah, this is an iconic movie. It's funny, watching it now. All the flaws kind of really stick out. As far as like some of the the dialogue and all that, but pretty damn good film, and I'll always love it. I don't know, probably because of the nostalgia of seeing it a lot as a kid. Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like this film made the main two characters a little bit more likable than they were in the short story, but just by a hair.
What happened there?
Nothing. I took it off the screen. I was just gonna say I think we did a show on Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
Every time we come through this, I'm like sitting there thinking, did we do a show on this? Because if not, I want to, and I'm pretty sure we did. A couple years ago, maybe, I don't know. I like Children of the Corn. I always credit Freddy's Revenge as my first horror movie, but I know I saw Children of the Corn first because I used to watch it all the time, but I didn't know what it was till years later. It's this whole debacle. My life is a lie, and I'm sorry. Here's my horror card. I turn it over to you guys. Final chapter, not the best Friday the 13th. That's Jason Lives. 100% true.
Not true.
But easily my favorite Friday the 13th. Yeah, it's true.
It's
all right. Huh?
It's a delusion.
Yeah. Coming in at number 6, Nate. We love Night of the Comet, don't we?
Fucking love Night of the Comet. I did the Blu-ray cover for this, and I told Scream Factory when they announced it, I was like, okay, I have to do that. And they said, all right, we need somebody who likes this movie because that's a weird fucking movie. And I was like, all right. So I was like so excited to get to work on this because this was one of those movies that was always on.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched it every time it was on.
Same
and
here.
I just love the atmosphere. Catherine Mary Stewart, she's so gorgeous. I got to meet her the day I met Robert Englund. I met Robert Englund, then I went and met her. And I don't know, I just really dig this movie. And funny enough, it's like got a connection to Nightmare on Elm Street because David Miller did the makeup on this, and the unused Freddy Krueger makeup designs he used on some of the zombies in this movie.
Was one of them the cop?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just really love this. It's cheesy. It's a B movie.
Dude, it's
but
fun.
It's so fun. It's such a fun movie.
Yeah, and there's people who kind of call it kind of boring, and I'm like, what part is boring to you? Like when she shoot. This is like one of the most iconic scenes here, shooting up the cars with the Uzi. Because her dad was a Marine or whatever, or what goes on in the mall. That's boring. What's boring about this movie? Yeah. I don't know. Seth, I don't remember. Did you have this on your list? I don't remember if you did or not.
Yeah, it was on my list. I saw it for the first time
recently?
it was like a year or two ago, maybe.
Hmm.
We did a show on it for Discourse.
Of course we did.
This is a movie. If someone's like, "Hey Nate, we'd like you to remake a movie," this is one of those movies I would throw out there and pitch. Like, I would love to remake Night of the Comet.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll work because it's so 80s. I mean, it's like this is the 80s. This is post-apocalyptic 80s. I mean, they're Valley Girls. It's just the red, the sky, all the red
Mhm.
like filter that they used on everything. I adore this movie. This is a comfort movie.
So, what did you think of it overall, Seth?
I liked it. I didn't like it as much as you guys do, but this may be like a similar situation to you and like certain other things where maybe if I saw
I'm not
this,
alone.
like if I was younger and I saw this, I
Yeah.
probably would have like.
Well, this Night of the Comet was one of those movies, like Nate said, it was on a lot in the 80s. And
Like-
that was one of those movies like, I can't be bothered right now. Night of the
Yeah.
Comet's on. I remember
Night of
this
the Comet's on. Beast
right,
Spice
this
is
girl
coming on
came
next.
over. This girl came over when I was 10. She's like, "Hey, you want to go hang out?" I was like, "No, my movie's on." It was Night of the Comet. I may have lost a chance with a girl just for Night of the Comet. Worth it though. Totally worth it. Night of the Comet's awesome. If you haven't seen it or you think it's boring, watch it again. I love Night of the Comet. And plus, Nate's cover art for the Scream Factory Blu-ray it's awesome, top notch. I love that you added the arcade in there.
That's my favorite part. People really dig it. Yeah, because like there's so much attention to her the game where she keeps winning, and then there's like one name that's like not hers, and she's like obsessed with who is that?
Got it.
There you go.
Hold that up. There you go. Yeah.
Reg. It's a DMK or something like that. Yeah, DMK right there. 6. Yeah. She's like, that's really annoying.
Yeah, because the actual poster for this is very minimal.
Yeah.
Seth, whip that out real fast. No, I mean the poster. Because it's a reversible sleeve. Yeah, see that it's not bad. It's just very minimal.
Yeah. It's funny you slip on that. That makes me it gives me PTSD. Like when Scream Factory came out, everyone was real excited about it, praised us and everything. And then once it got popular, all the haters started coming out.
Oh,
and
God.
So what you would hear is every time they would reveal an artwork, and I don't care who it was, if it was me or freaking Graham Humphreys or somebody, they were always like, "Yeah, I'll be swapping this around. I'll be changing mine around. I want we're gonna use the original artwork." They would just shit on us. Like, yeah, I was like, I don't give a fuck how you put it on your shelf. Yeah. You bought it.
Yeah, I still got it.
The only time I had to do that with a Scream Factory one was with the They Live one. There's something about the art that just drives me nuts.
The dude designs.
Who did They Live?
Like it's
the dude designs. He did a lot. He was a big artist at that time too. He did like the cover for like Hobo with a Shotgun. He did a.
Show it to us, Seth.
Yeah, this here. See, I don't like.
Oh yeah.
I don't like the hands. I don't like the body for Nada. I don't know. The art just looked weird to me.
That was the first cover that I didn't do because I did their first 4 or 5, and then Dude did that one, and then I did like I don't know the next couple, and then Justin Osborne came on and did. I think he either started with The Fog or Life Force.
Life Force.
Yeah.
Some jubblies. Matilda May, yo, changed my life. All right, coming in number 4, the second best Friday the 13th movie of all time. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Of course, we don't have to spend too much time on this one because we've done tons of stuff on Friday the 13th. It's a great addition to the franchise for sure. It's my number 2. It's Nate's number 2. Seth's number 1. And Jared's number 1.
It's the rightful number 1. We all know it.
You're so delusional, laser brain.
Computer says you're a dead fuck.
It does. Wait, There is no computer.
Let's say this.
And there's no Benny either.
Let's solve this debate. Okay.
Okay.
Here's the debate.
Let's do this.
The best scary Friday the 13th movie is Part 4.
Yep.
The funnest Nightmare Friday the 13th movie is Part 6. So
Absolutely.
There we
That's the way I've always looked at those two. I mean, I love Jason Lives. I do, like, all joking aside, like, Jason Lives is an incredible movie.
Oh yeah,
I
you love it.
Yeah, it's always like the party movie of the Friday films. You know what I mean? It's like Elm Street 4. You just put it on anytime and have fun.
Part 4 is the perfect amalgamation of the first 3 movies.
Yeah.
Done better. I mean, I love Part 2 a whole lot though.
Yeah.
And I think to me the strength of Part 2 is Jenny.
Mm.
It's the best final girl in my opinion of the series.
Yeah, probably.
And I dig how human Steve Dash was.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a giant. He's not, I dig, and I love the sidekick look. But this movie, Ted White is arguably the best Jason.
Yeah.
The kills, it's Tom Savini's great work, his best work on Friday the 13th. It's got some of my favorite kills. Like I've said, my favorite kills in the franchise are in this one. It's
my favorite kill's not even shown.
That both of them. It's the guy. What's his name? Rick. In the
Is that his
basement.
name?
Is that his
Yeah,
name?
he's killing me.
He's killing me. That's terrifying. That is a terrifying death. And the twin who gets killed outside with the shadow, or you go the camera, just because the camera goes past her and we see the killing in a shadow with the lighting.
Mm-hmm.
It's inventive. It's creative. That's the kind of filmmaking that like gets me excited. I just like there's so many killings in Friday the 13th. So it was like, hey, what are you doing here? Oh! Like this is like you're coming towards her. You're like, oh, this is going to happen. It goes past, like what? And you see the shadow of him stabbing her, and I'm like, that's fucking great. That's a
the
great
hitchhiker
choice.
kill was great too. Come on, the banana squeezing. No, I mean, all joking aside, I do love Jason Lives the best. But the thing is, I feel like Jason Lives is the most well-rounded Friday the 13th. We get kids in a camp. The one thing that this one has on Jason Lives more than anything, I do think Ted White's better than CJ. I love CJ as Jason. But this movie has Judy Aronson's tits. And
that's Weird Science Kids. Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good stuff.
It's a good one.
It's no Jason X, but whatever. No. Moving on to number Seth. You got anything else you want to say about it? I know you love it so much.
I mean, I think Nate's spot on with how we determined it, because I think, and I don't care, anyone could fight me. Ted White is the best Jason, way better than Kane Hodder. He's the most intimidating. Like this at this point in the series. So there's the first 3, and then this. Like this is the meanest he's been. The most intimidating.
Most brutal. Yeah. I mean, he smashes that dude's fucking head in the shower. Like just smashes it.
And since we're on 1984, let's give a little Ted shout out for him in Starman, one of the most underappreciated John Carpenter movies.
Yeah.
I love Starman. It's a 1984 movie.
We do have a segment right before we unleash the number 1. So,
all right.
Not a segment, but a quick question. Coming in at number 4 is The Terminator. Or no, hold on, shit.
Did you skip 4?
Gremlins is number 4. Jesus. Spoiler alert. Gremlins is number 4, and Gremlins is awesome. By the way, if you're here, like the post, please. Really appreciate that. Go ahead. Gremlins. What do you guys think of it? I love it. I fucking love this movie.
Oh yeah, saw this.
I watched it while wrapping presents.
Saw this in theaters. Had all the little coloring books and the figures, and yeah, this was a special. Like, and Joe Dante's a great filmmaker. My favorite movie of his is The Burbs, but I mean, this is probably his masterpiece in many ways. Like, there's just, and again, that Spielberg thing. It's got that Spielberg magic. I know Spielberg wanted to direct it, I think, but it's also like it's unapologetically gruesome too, when it needs to be.
Oh, yeah.
It's dark. It's morbid. And then you got like Dick Miller. I mean, it's so charming. It's like, as much as I love like Black Christmas, like I don't think there's a better Christmas horror movie than Gremlins. I can't think of any.
This is probably my favorite Christmas horror movie. What say you, Seth? We got 2 Christmas horror movies in 1984, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. No, I'm with you guys on that. Like, I watched the crap out of the VHS tape that my parents had of Gremlins. This movie just it rocks, and I think you're right, Nate. It's Joe Dante's masterpiece.
Yeah, and like the score by Jerry Goldsmith, fucking
Yep.
great
Yeah.
score.
Great score. Yeah, Gremlins. I watch it every year when I wrap presents.
I wish I watched it this year. Like I had the kids come down. It was like the night before they were going to their mom's for the week or whatever, and it was like right before Christmas, and we're watching a movie, and they wanted to watch The Grinch, the Jim Carrey one, and then like halfway through, I was like, we should have been watching Gremlins.
And this is one that a horror movie that is very pop culture. Like it's a part of the zeitgeist. Like everyone knows Gremlins. Everyone knows the rules. Don't feed it after midnight. Don't get in sunlight. Don't get it wet. Yeah, I mean it's an iconic movie, and it still holds up. The puppets still work. You know they're. I mean it's a blast, but it's also dark. You know, it's not really a kids movie.
No, but it is at the same time. I mean, there's a lot of gruesome shit that happens. I mean, you get a freaking gremlin in a microwave in a blender. The final scene with Stripe.
That scene that the mom is amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, again, Joe Dante's directing and editing. I mean, he started as an editor for Roger Corman. That's how he cut trailers together for Corman's company. So that's how he became a really great filmmaker. He's a phenomenal editor. And yeah, and I love, like, he's one of my favorite people to listen to talk about because he knows everything. He's like a Scorsese or a Tarantino. He's so knowledgeable of films. I listen to his podcasts all the time that he knows run times of movies. Like you talk about how long was this movie? And he goes, "It's 92 minutes." He's like almost never stumped. So yeah, I love this movie. I don't watch it enough. Really, I don't watch it enough.
I used to when I was a kid because
as a kid I did.
I had a VHS tape that was recorded off TV that had Gremlins and Gremlins 2. And let me tell you something. I love Gremlins 2 also. I don't care what anybody says.
Gremlins 2 is great.
It's
fun. A lot of people say it's better than the first one.
It has Christopher Lee in it, for God's sakes. It's got Lionel Luthor in the movie.
It's got Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
I love the Key and Peele. Have you seen the Key and Peele sketch?
Mm-mm.
Oh dear God! Go after the show. Go to YouTube and watch Key and Peele Gremlins 2.
Okay.
Because it's basically it's like being inside the boardroom when they're pitching Gremlins 2.
Oh shit!
And
I think I have seen that.
And Jordan Peele comes in looking like Hollywood from Mannequin.
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah,
and he's like, everybody gets their own gremlin. Everybody gets to design a gremlin. So it's like, what do you think? And they're like, an electric gremlin. It's like, it's in the movie. How about you? It's just hilarious.
Yeah, that was one of the things I like about 2 is you get the spider gremlin, you get the bat gremlin who turns to stone into a gargoyle, essentially. Yeah, there's so much fun in that movie. I love it. It doesn't get
my favorite gremlin, and I have a replica of like just a normal base gremlin that Trick or Treat Studios put out.
Oh yeah,
it was great. But I really wanted the one with the ski mask, the one that has the gun, the rubber. I love the one with the ski mask, and they made a copy of that. They made that one.
Yeah. Knowing me, I would just get the flashing one, which also has one of the best deaths of a gremlin. Yeah, I gotta admit. One of my favorite scenes, by the way, and it's in Gremlins 2, is when they're drilling into the guy's tooth. Is it safe? From Marathon Man. I love that. Oh, all right. Number 3 is The Terminator. And I like that Jared asked me, "Is the Terminator count?" I'm like, yeah, it does. Some people don't see it as a horror movie. I've been in that camp for a long time. You guys tell me why this is a horror movie. It's on my list, so it doesn't really matter. But for people out there,
it's a slasher film. I mean, there's like you just had the 1980 list and you had Maniac. This is like Maniac with a cyborg in it. Like the atmosphere of LA, or it's Maniac in New York, LA. I can't remember.
New York.
New York, okay. But it has that same look that William Lustig's looks. Like the blue light, the the contrast, like the cinematography and the way he films it, it's totally a horror movie. He shot it like a horror movie, and Schwarzenegger's terrifying in this movie. It's a slasher film, and he's like Michael Myers. He is a kill. You cannot reason with it. You cannot stop it. It will keep coming, and won't stop until you're dead. And that I think that's is it's a science fiction movie that deals with time travel. Other than that, take away the time travel and just say this girl is a waitress and this guy's chasing around LA trying to murder her, and the guy's trying to protect her. It's basically rooted in that slasher genre.
Seth, what do you think?
I mean, I agree with Nate. Now, like, for, growing up, right, like, I never really considered this to be a horror film. And, I mean, even still now, like, I have my Terminator collection separate from my horror films. But I had the Terminator at number 2 on my list for 84. It's I fucking adore this movie. I love the way Cameron shot it. It definitely has a horror movie vibe to it, and it's got so many great iconic scenes. This scene right here at the nightclub, from that this image is from, is phenomenal. The scene where he takes out the whole police station is phenomenal. Just really good stuff. So I was happy to include on my list after seeing it made your guys' list. So, yeah.
Just the finale of the cyborg just keep coming and crawling. It's like you can't kill this thing. It's like it's a terrifying. Like I just remember the first time I saw it. It was so intense.
I agree with you, Sean. I love Judgment Day, but I love Terminator. The first one's so iconic and great.
It's hard to fucking judge because this was a low budget movie.
Mm-hmm.
Terminator, he had money. He could do whatever he wanted. It's just kind of and it's Terminator 2 is the better movie, but it's also because he had made this and Aliens and The Abyss. I mean, he had a lot more experience and a lot more money, much more experienced crew.
I think one of the things I like about Terminator better also is the horror elements that are kind of, I mean, they're kind of there in the second movie, but it's not as steeped in horror as the first movie is, in my opinion.
It's far more pushing
the blockbuster.
It's much more of a blockbuster. Even more like Aliens is still more horror than Terminator 2 is.
Yeah.
But Aliens isn't as horrific as Alien. So if you look at those two movies, Terminator 1 and Alien are horror movies. Terminator 2 and Aliens are science fiction movies with a little bit of horror in there. But I mean, Robert Patrick's terrifying in part 2.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's this liquid metal thing that's like, how do you beat this thing? How do you stop this? You can't. It took him so long to kill the T-800, and the T-800 is inferior to this thing.
Obsolete.
Yeah.
Seth, you got something you want to say?
Nope. Yeah, it's covered it.
Yeah. Terminator is awesome, man. I love that movie. Regardless of what genre it's in, it's just a badass fucking movie. Period.
Absolutely. That's why I had it at number 2 on my list.
I think I had it at 4.
It's arguably the best movie in our list. Like,
Nate, there are 2 more movies that are so goddamn good.
They are.
Yeah, like this. Like Ghostbusters is amazing.
Yeah.
I love Ghostbusters.
Well, this and Terminator are 2 of the top 10 movies of the 80s, in my opinion.
Yeah. I was surprised, Seth, you had this ranked kind of lower. You got a thing against the Ghostbusters?
No, I mean, again, it was another one where I grew up with Ghostbusters 1 and 2, and then there was the cartoon. I loved it a lot when I was a kid, but just kind of as I get older, I don't go to watch it as much. Maybe once every couple years or so. I mean, I still get a kick out of it. I mean, it has one of my favorite lines in it. It's true. This man has no dick.
Dickless over here.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. So I mean,
Or you can believe Mr. Pecker.
yeah. I mean, it's one I've always enjoyed. It's just I like the other ones I had above it just a little bit more than it. You know, it's when we get to like 84 and 86, 87 and 88, you know, the rankings were more difficult for me.
Yeah.
I hated putting some above others, and it makes it. When you have a film lower on a list, it makes it seem like you don't like it as much or whatever, but it's still great.
Yeah.
This is a movie I've just seen 1,000 times. I just love Ghostbusters. I saw it in the theater when it came out. I had the shirt and the soundtrack and all that. I didn't really watch the cartoon.
Oh, I love the cartoon.
I don't know when that came out, but I think I was a little older.
It was in the
86, 87, maybe.
Was it 80s? I thought it was like early 90s. I could be
wrong.
No,
it was
probably like late 80s.
It was before the second
middle
movie.
school, probably.
It was definitely before the second movie. I will say that.
Yeah, the second movie came out in 89. So
yeah.
But I just fucking love this movie, and it's it's got some scares in it. It's
Well, I mean, the ghost effects are super cool in this movie. First of all.
Oh yeah,
I love the ghost effects.
And the Saturday Night Live guys were like gods in the 80s. Like,
oh yeah,
Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd were. I mean, Harold Ramis wasn't on Saturday Night Live, and he didn't do a whole lot of acting. He worked with Ivan, did Stripes and this. But Bill Murray to me is the 80s. Like, Bill Murray is my favorite comedic actor of all time, and this is arguably the best movie Bill Murray was ever in. I mean,
you know what's funny about that though? If you look at his filmography, there's like a big chunk missing from. I think it's between this. There's one movie because he did like 3 or 4 movies, like Razor's Edge, that one that he wanted to do this. I think.
Yeah.
And then he did Little Shop of Horrors, but like before Scrooge and Ghostbusters 2, there wasn't much, it was kind of shocking because I watched it. There's a really great documentary about this. I think I saw it. Shit, I may have bought it, but yeah, I agree. Bill Murray is one of my favorite comedic actors of all time. Period. And I love Dan Aykroyd. Who's your favorite Ghostbuster? That's the question I want to ask everybody real quick. Leave it in the comments who your favorite Ghostbuster is. Seth, who's your favorite Ghostbuster?
Venkman.
Okay, Nate?
Yeah, it's Venkman. I can't not pick Bill Murray.
I mean,
even Dan Aykroyd said the reason Ghostbusters was such a hit was because of Bill Murray.
But I love
and it's kind of odd to think about it because John Belushi was supposed to play, and
I couldn't imagine
Eddie Murphy was supposed to play. I guess one of them. I don't know. I think it was supposed to be Winston or somebody else.
Yeah, mine's always been Egon. I like how plain he is, and Prince is dead. I collect spores, molds, and fungus. I don't know.
I had a slinky, but I straightened it.
Yeah.
He's got some great lines.
He does. I really was a big fan of Harold Ramis overall. He's in Stripes. He's so good, and he's not in a ton of stuff, but every time I just love Harold Ramis. But yeah, Ghostbusters, man, such a great, and Ghostbusters 2, in my opinion, is just as good, maybe slightly less than the first movie, but man, I love Ghostbusters 2 quite a bit.
I just quoted it on the set of my play. We were doing something. Someone said, "Hey, can you grab that off of that thing?" And I'm like, "Business or personal?" She didn't get it.
What are you gonna say, Seth?
I've always really enjoyed Ghostbusters 2 as well, and then it's not until the last couple of years where I've started seeing people kind of talk crap about it. I didn't know it was so unpopular, but
I didn't either. And Get the double.
I've always
Yeah.
had fun with it. The guy from the painting was great.
Vigo. He's
yeah.
Vigo.
Yeah, I love the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun, man. I
It's
love the slime stuff, you know,
What?
like when they're in the nice ballroom place and Dan Aykroyd goes over there and all the slime goes flying. And Venkman's like, "You're scaring the streets." I love the second movie.
It's so funny how good Peter McNichol is. Like
Yeah, I
in the
know.
movie, like
Oh, but I would.
I thought, yeah, he goes, "So where the hell are you from? The Upper West Side?"
The Upper West Side.
And like, so why are you came?
Why are you came?
Everything
No,
you do-
no photos of the. Yeah, he's good.
Everything you're doing is bad. I want you to know this. I mean, but the other person we haven't talked about, who like other than Venkman, my favorite person in these movies is Rick Moranis.
Oh yeah,
He's fucking great in this movie, and it's supposed to be originally John Candy, but
my God, that'd be so strange.
Rick Moranis was so great. What was his name?
Louis Tully.
Louis Tully.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a shower.
He's good in both of them. I like that his roles expanded a little bit more in the second movie too.
One time I turned into a dog and they helped me.
They helped me. Thank
Like
you. Well said, Louis. I may have seen the Ghostbusters movies too many times. The first two, anyway. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Not a bad question, Bert.
All right. What is your favorite non-horror film of 1984? Everybody at home watching, please answer the comments. Also, you haven't liked it. So, Nate, let's start with you. Favorite non-horror movie of 1984?
Oh, let me look
Look
my
it up.
list here.
I bet
Yeah,
Steph's ready. Steph, are you ready to prepare? 1984 was a big year.
I've got a tie.
Okay. I think Seth froze.
Go ahead. I'll shut those. All right, my tie is Beverly Hills Cop
Top grossing movie of 84.
and Streets of Fire.
Oh, okay. Steph, what about you?
Let's see, of 1984, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Nice.
My
Underrated
favorite.
indie movie.
It's my favorite Indiana Jones movie,
Oh, is it really?
and I make no apologies for it.
As you shouldn't. It's great. I love it. My signal looks like it's coming through okay. No.
What?
My signal says it's low. Am I coming through okay?
You're kind of choppy. He's frozen.
I think you froze.
He froze. Well, I'll kill time by. This is one of my favorite years of movie. This is probably my favorite movie year in the 80s. And every time I look at 1984, I'm like astounded by how many great movies came out in that year. And so I have a list of ones we haven't talked about that I love. Karate Kid, Red Dawn, The Last Starfighter, Once Upon a Time in America, which Sean mentioned, 16 Candles, John Hughes' first movie as a director, Temple of Doom, Paris, Texas, Amadeus, The Never-Ending Story, Police Academy, Footloose, This is Spinal Tap, Revenge of the Nerds, one of my all-time favorites, Romancing the Stone, Splash, The Ice Pirates, The Toxic Avenger, Purple Rain, Bachelor Party, Children of the Corn, we said that already, The Killing Fields, The Natural, Repo Man, The Company of Wolves, The Hit, Places in the Heart, Dreamscape, Stranger Than Paradise, Johnny Dangerously, Stop Making Sense, Cloak and Dagger, Breakin' 1 and 2, Electric Boogaloo, Muppets Take Manhattan, All of Me, Missing in Action, Iceman, The Lonely Guy, Combat Shock, The 8 Diagram Pole Fighter.
Oh my God, what are you guys talking about?
all the great 1984 movies.
Oh, yeah,
Corsican
my internet
Brothers,
just took a shit.
Dune, Threads, After the Rehearsal, Frankenweenie, A Christmas
Is that
Carol.
the David Lynch Dune?
Yes.
Okay.
And one that we could have put on this list, and you brought it up last week, Terror in the Isles.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know if we should. I love Terror in the Isles. It's a clip
Yeah.
show of all the great horror movies up to 1983. Real fast, Karate Kid's one of my favorites from
Yeah.
1984, and Police Academy. And Romancing the Stone. Yeah, of course, Beverly Hills Cop and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom as well. I love both of those. Sorry, my internet took a crap on me. All over my face, actually. Can't you tell? I look like shit. Don't forget, if you like this video, subscribe to the YouTube and hit the like button. Still see only 7 likes. Not happy about that. Thanks, people. All right. Well, no more hesitating. You guys ready for number 1?
16 Candles.
16 Candles. A Nightmare on Elm Street. My favorite horror movie of all time. Nate's favorite horror movie of all time. That's top 10, maybe?
Yeah, it's definitely my top 10.
This is God.
Yes.
So in this picture, he's wearing the stunt glove. And I had an argument with some guy online about, because I threw the stunt glove into my Confession of Freddy Krueger, and he said, the glove's broken, it looks stupid. I'm like, it's an homage to the stunt glove in part 1. There's no stunt glove. I'm like, yeah, look in this shot. See how the finger stalls aren't connected?
You never noticed that before. I mean,
It's the stunt
people
glove.
argue
It's
about the
the hero
weirdest
glove.
shit.
Yeah.
I swear.
He
So
said it was a
let's-
mistake. Like I put a broken, like a glove that looks like that by accident.
well, I mean, you're the wrong person to argue with about gloves, first of all.
Yeah.
So, but I had a hard time picking one image from this movie, so I figured the "This Is God" moment was probably a good one.
Mhm.
My other option, I had like 20 different pictures. I'm like, which one to use? The other one was the alley scene, of course, and then I had pictures of Tina and Nancy. And this is my favorite horror movie without a doubt.
Mhm.
It's changed horror movies in many ways. It was very innovative. Robert Englund proved that you could be a horror villain and say stuff. Not like Michael Myers and Jason. And they proved that they needed him in the second movie because they hired a stuntman and they were like, we need to get Robert back. I love everything about this movie. My personal hero growing up was Nancy Thompson. So, Nate, what do you got?
Oh God. I'm sick of talking about Freddy, man. Like, it shouldn't work. Red and green striped sweater, hat, like
God, Christ almighty. Unsubscribe, Sean.
go away, Sean.
Scream's Wes Craven's best movie.
Scream's great. Scream's
Scream is
better.
great.
Scream is like we talked about. I'm getting all these texts. I gotta leave in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, like imagine this movie if Freddy didn't look like this and sound like this and move and act like this. Would it have lasted?
Yeah.
Because the silhouette, the glove alone. Like I've always said, the two greatest weapons in film history is Freddy's glove and the lightsaber. So it's just so cool. Like there's something about watching him build that in the beginning of the movie that just sets you right into this fucking world. It's like, I'm going to love this. That's one of my favorite movie moments. Just watching openings ever is watching Freddy Krueger make that glove.
Yeah.
And just I don't know, just the stuff. He's terrified because he's somebody you can't hurt. He cuts himself up, he chops himself up. He can do whatever. He can teleport. He can do all these things. This sequence right here in the alleyway, Tina's last nightmare is what I call it, is the greatest horror scene in history, in my opinion. I just love everything about it. From the time she wakes up to him trying to get through the wall to get to Nancy, her going in the alleyway, the arm stretching, the kill in the bedroom, running her up the fucking ceiling. And it's low budget. Everyone was ripping off Halloween. this didn't feel like Halloween, other than
No.
it's in suburbia. He used the same suburbia thing.
It's down the
But
street from where they've filmed Halloween.
yeah, I mean, shot a couple streets over from the Halloween
Yeah.
in Pasadena, but other than that,
Actually,
works so well.
isn't this what's her name's house? Annie? Is it Annie's house or Lori's house?
Yeah, in the TV scenes for
TV, yeah.
Halloween, the TV Halloween, they shot the interior of Lori's house in the Nightmare house. So there's a part where she's in the living room and she's looking out her window talking to Linda on the phone.
You gotta thank Sean Clark, I think, for that one.
Yeah.
From Horror's Hollow
And of
Grounds.
course, everybody knows Robert Englund spread leaves on the ground while they were shooting Halloween.
I didn't know that.
I'm gonna bounce out. Yeah, like one of his roommates said, "Hey, I'm gonna go work on this movie. It's called Halloween," and and he goes, "Oh, I can come along." He goes, "Yeah," and then like they help spread the leaves out in the bag and then pick them all up and move them because they had to do that.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, I'm gonna head out because
right,
Luka
thanks
Doncic
for
is
stopping
about
by,
to
man.
premiere with the LA Lakers, and I want to check that out.
Go check it out. Thanks for
All
stopping in, man.
Yep. Nice.
See you
See you. All right, Seth. Where do you think you have this ranked in your top horror list? I know because you do share a love. Hold on, let me look at you face to face. Let me look at you. I know that you love Elm Street movies. We've talked about this so many times. Where do you think you have it ranked amongst? Because I know how you feel about these movies, and I know what your like top 2 or 3 are, probably. Where you got this? Come on.
Probably like 4.
That's fair. Because you got Night of the Living Dead, An American Werewolf in London, and something else. Probably John Carpenter movie.
Hellraiser.
Oh, Hellraiser. Ahead of Elm Street?
Yeah.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah.
Well, tell me about your love for A Nightmare on Elm Street and give me an idea of why you do love it as much as you do.
Well, I mean, I first saw them when I was a teenager, and I was in high school, and my friend had the box set, which I have now. They're down in my basement.
The VHS box set?
Yeah, he actually mailed them to me a couple years ago.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so they're down in the basement, or else I'd display them right now. But I used to borrow those all the time from him. I would always be like, "Hey, can I borrow Elm Street 1? Can I borrow Elm Street 2?" And then like just constantly borrowing them and loving them. The first 4 Elm Streets, I have a deep love for. There's, I would say the first 4 and then New Nightmare. Those are the ones I'd watch the most. 5, yeah, I'm iffy on. Like I like parts of it.
I like it enough.
Yeah, exactly. But well, it's like Nate said, like in the sea of slashers that came after Halloween, everyone's trying to be Halloween, and then comes Wes Craven doing something completely different.
Yeah.
Almost to an extent where I always kind of hate putting Elm Street in the slasher section. You know what I mean? Because like I feel like they're more than just slasher films.
100% agree with you.
They're story and character driven. It's lore driven. Even especially when you get into like Elm Street 3. Yeah, they're just so good. And like not only Robert's performance, but you got likable lead characters with Nancy Thompson, Jesse Walsh, I'm blanking on her name, Kristen Parker, Alice Johnson. So it's always kind of like, huh?
I said, "Oh, Alice."
Yeah.
Sweet Alice.
Yeah. So I've always liked the main characters, and then just there's the creativity with the dream sequences, and the original score is, I think, fantastic. What's his name? Charles Bernstein, is that who did the score? His music is iconic for this. Like Yeah, I absolutely love Elm Street, and I was actually just thinking about the Elm Street franchise the other day. I'm like, I think marathon through them again, just because. I
Because
just
you
really,
can.
I just really dig the series, and it's always funny too, because like I feel like most people know me as like a Halloween guy, but just as much about the Elm Street films.
Yeah. And
And
you and I have talked a lot about the Elm Street films over the years.
mhm. Oh yeah, and well, I mean, Elm Street's like it's like one of those franchises where I'm gonna be talking about it for the rest of my life. Like it's always gonna get brought up in some way or form. And yeah, and then just to kind of go back to Sean's statement earlier, we all know that Wes Craven's best movie is The Hills Have Eyes Part 2 because the dog has a flashback.
What are you even saying? like seriously, what are you even saying to me right now?
What do you mean?
What you just said. Sorry, I'm trying to see if we lost our feed. For some reason, it's not showing us on Facebook right now. I'm trying to figure out. Hey, if anybody's watching on Facebook, are we still live? Because it's showing like I'm confused. It's I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I just wanted to check because it was I don't know. The Hills Have Eyes is an obvious choice, but I don't know. I don't know.
No, I said The Hills Have Eyes Part 2.
No, part 2. Yeah, what a great movie.
The dog has a flashback.
Does it really?
Yeah, there's like this one part where like the camera kind of
Thank you,
zooms in
Hannah.
on the dog, and then they show footage from the first film.
I was gonna say because I've seen that, but I have no recollection of that movie. I own it actually. I have zero recollection of it. But yeah, I guess that's is it in the same universe then as Elm Street?
I don't know. I mean, I was only making a joke.
I know. I know you were. Yeah, man. I don't know. I love A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's a comfort movie. Dream Warriors or Dream Master is a comfort movie. It's just always been like Freddy for me. And oddly, like I've never been particularly happy with the way he looks because he's ugly as fuck. But like he's also to me that's part of his why he's so terrifying. He's all scarred and burnt, and like I think like that might be why he is I think in some ways scarier than Jason or Michael Myers based on appearance alone. He just looks so cool. Great makeup effects on each movie. I think they get a little bit better each time. But then again, great cast.
Yeah.
So let's go back through these. If you don't mind, I got the 30-second clip. So, how happy did you end up or feel with this list?
Pretty satisfied. There's 2 that I haven't seen, so I still got to see Chud and the one that was right before it. I forget already.
Blood Simple.
Blood Simple, which I do want to see.
I think you'll like Chud. I wouldn't say I don't think it'll fall in that category of it would have been better if you saw it earlier. It's actually not a bad movie. John Hurd and Daniel Stern are both really good in it, and it's a lot of stuff going on in the New York City sewers. But yeah, the monsters themselves look really cool, as you can see in that picture. But like I said, they never made the full bodysuit for the Chud. Like as Mike Lombardo says, you never get the full Chud. But I think you'll definitely check. I think it's on Shudder. I would definitely check it out. I feel like with some of these lists that we've done so far, you've had to play a little bit of catch up. I feel like these lists will change in a year's time after you've seen almost all the stuff that you may have missed. But yeah. we'll worry about some other time. I think next week we're going to take a week off from doing the lists as we've gone through now 1985. And if you've forgotten our 1985 list, that's where it started. And we'll go into 1986, the year after, or the year after that, the week after that. Ooh, Matilda May. Oops. And then next week, what do you think? You think we want to do this general talk horror? Maybe answer some questions.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It sounds fun. We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, need a break from a list.
Yeah. So next week on Tuesday, we'll be back on Tuesday. We will come back and we'll do like a Ask Us Anything type of show. You can ask us. Tell your buddy that comes on the werewolf show that says you're his number 2 YouTuber. Tell him to come with all his questions about what if there was a brown and a white and a red cloak for Scream. So we'll need questions. Sean, be armed and ready to go with questions next week. Shud's on Tubi. Thank you, Hannah. Who the fuck is Midwest Horror? Is that Hannah? Is that Hannah? You guys are Midwest Horror on YouTube? So I was going to do something like that a while back. Get all the Midwest Horror fans together and put us all in one place so we can go see movies like they're showing Motel Hell on March 7th and 8th at the Late Night Grindhouse. And I definitely want to go see that. You know, or like I'd love to go with a big group to see movies. Like I just saw this, which I definitely recommend, Hard Eyes, as a great date movie. My other half, Mr. Richard. I called him Old Man Richard. And I'm older than him. What a shame. Why do you love Christopher Nolan so much? I plead the fifth. I don't like Christopher Nolan almost at all. I think he's the most overrated director of all time, honestly. Oh, you guys are always in. I know it. We're gonna have to do another backyard horror movie night one of these days. But anyway, yeah. So next week we'll do that, and then we'll get back on with a countdown. And it's fun. It's a rom-com slasher, and there are a lot of references to old slasher movies. You just keep that in mind when you see it. But anyway, I think I'm going to try to go see Companion tomorrow after I get out of work. Anyway, Seth, is there anything? What's going on tomorrow? Or not tomorrow, Wednesday.
Wednesday, I'll be doing Wolf from 1994.
The Jack Nicholson classic, Wolf.
Yes.
Is that streaming anywhere?
I haven't honestly checked. I think it is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because I haven't seen that movie in a long time. And when I ranked my werewolf list,
what?
I just got a text. What was I saying? I forgot already.
You were asking if Wolf was streaming anywhere.
Oh yeah.
On your list.
Yeah. So when I was making my list, I remember seeing. I've seen it, but I couldn't remember like how much I liked it. So it kind of got lost in the shuffle when I was making my werewolf list. I love you, Seth. I wish you lived closer so we could hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's going on after the show's over.
Okay.
But
yeah, I was just looking. I think it's available on Prime.
Okay.
Seeing here. Basically, I made a schedule up until the
end of the year,
the end of December, that I'm going to stick with. I'm going to stick with this schedule, and I'm going to talk about every werewolf film, good and bad.
When are we going to expect your top, 125 werewolf list? Sometime this year, you think?
Yeah, definitely soon. I'm planning on that being my 100th article
Oh shit, that's right.
for the horrorsyndicate.com. I'm at 93 right now. Amber and I are finishing up the first season of X-Files, so I'm going to do a ranking of every episode of the first season of X-Files for the website. I got a few other ideas in store.
Here's a question. Who thought casting Franklin was a good idea? That's funny. He had to be somebody's brother. I will try to watch some werewolf movies, but no promises. That's my mantra. I will try to watch werewolf movies, but no promises. Oh man. Oh, what the hell? I get this hit the space bar and it pulls up the. That's pretty cool. Hey, did you know that?
I did not know that.
Hit the space bar. See what happens for you.
It just took away comments.
Anyway, finding out something new every day. So next week, again, we will be doing like an Ask Us Anything. If you have any questions about horror movies, or if we've seen horror movies, or what do we think about certain horror movies, please get those ready to go for next week. And I don't know if we're even doing discourse this week. Nate got that part in that play, Seth. So I don't know if we're going to be, yeah. But if we do poop. That was so dumb. But if we do end up doing discourse, we will be covering The Raven and another Poe Corman movie that I can't remember the title of at the moment. So that will be Sunday if that ends up happening. I have a feeling it's not going to happen because Seth, maybe if it doesn't happen, we'll do something fun. What do you think? Pull something out of our ass and do our own little discourse. See if Jared wants to join.
Yeah,
maybe we can do a circle jerk.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah. Well, you said you wanted to do something Friday. I was busy Friday.
Yep.
I had a date.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was. Good kisser. Anyway, his name?
I'm kidding.
It was Seth, actually.
Anyway,
let's see. Oh, Trekopedia finally shows up.
Yeah,
Top 3 in 1984, Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, 4, and Star Trek. I guess that's overall. I'm telling you, Star Trek 3 is better than Star Trek 2. It's my opinion. And Trekopedia, come on, you're a Star Trek person. Seth, anything else you want to say about 1984? Okay, here's the question. Do you think this is the biggest year we've covered, or the best year we've covered so far? We've done 80 through 85.
I don't know, 80 or 81. One of those was really good too. I'll say 84 is the best that we've done so far.
Yeah,
but
that's
going to change soon because
you're right.
86, 87, and 88 were.
So, which one of those three are you most excited about? Mine's honestly, 88.
Mine is honestly going to be 86.
Really?
Well, mainly so I can do an honorable mention for Howlin' 3: The Marsupials.
You're killing me, man. How do you know it's not going to make it? You could conspire with Jared and make it number like 5 or something like that if you guys really wanted to.
Idea.
No, it's not. That came out in 86.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think, yeah, because I made my 86 list and you responded, "You son of a bitch."
Are you sure it's not 87?
Pretty sure it was 86. I'll just double check.
It's 87.
Is it 87? I thought it was 86.
It's 87 and it's on Tubi.
Okay, well then 87 then, so I could talk about
you
that.
Son of a bitch. Either way, you son of a bitch. Like I was sitting there at work and I popped open the text. I'm like, I was completely defeated after I saw that.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. That is right. Yeah. 87. I think I'm just looking at my list right now. I think 88 is the one I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, 87 and 88 are the two best years of the 80s, in my opinion.
I think I agree with that. I don't know that 87 is got. He says Dream Warriors is going to be. I don't think Dream Warriors will be number one.
I got Dream Warriors at number 3 for 87.
I think I do too. I my list isn't in front of me, but actually, it might be in my pocket. Hold on. I've had a pocket full of papers. Hold on. I can tell you that 87. Oh shit. Well, we know what number one is. We just saw it in the theater last Wednesday.
Yeah, it's my number 1.
That's Nate's number 4. Nate has Predator at number 1. I have Elm Street 3 at number 2, and Evil Dead 2 at number 3. So yeah, I mean it's a stacked year, and of course Seth has Howling 3 Marsupials at number 10.
Yep.
You
And
son of a bitch.
John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness, I have at number 2.
Let's see, Prince of Darkness, number 4 for me. I love that. That's one of my favorite Carpenters.
I mean, to be honest with you, I like every single film on the list that I put, so including the Howling 3.
Well, I mean, I do have something in this pocket. Oh, I should capture that for my picture.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here. Fun show tonight. We'll be back. Well, Seth will be back on Wednesday, and we will for sure be back next Tuesday with our Ask Us Anything. Trekapita, get some questions ready, and we'll discuss some horror films. Horror. That means I'm from Brooklyn. Horror. Seth, you like horror?
No, I hate horror.
I know you hate horror. Good night. We'll see you soon. We love you. We will come back in some form.